Let's demystify standard operating procedures for agency once and for all. Just 3 years ago, I was operating with a very small team. I had just a handful of projects going on any given time, and honestly, it felt like business was really smooth sailing. I felt like this is project A, project B, project C. They were all moving along very, very well. And the team could handle it even without having documented processes, even without having these lists of SOPs and how to do things, even without having all that overhead or the seemingly overhead, what I thought back then. Everything was going well, and I thought that training my team and defining SOPs was kind of a waste of time, and I couldn't have been more wrong. 3 years ago, my life changed forever because my wife became pregnant, and we obviously wanted to be parents, and it was all good and we were super excited. But at that time, at that exact moment, I realized, damn it, I need to take more time off of the business. Before that, I was working longer days and I enjoyed it and I wanted to. But then when I knew, wait, there is this baby girl coming into my world, I'm going to be a dad soon. And I run this business to live life on my own terms. I run this agency so that I am in control over what I do. So I want to be with my baby girl. I want to support my wife, and I can't work these long hours anymore. And this is when SOPs came in. And based on the feedback that we've received from my previous video on SOPs, we'll dive deeper into them today. I'll show you how we use SOPs for Virtual Summit Mastery, and I'll walk you through the process of how we can define SOPs so that you can free up more time. That's one thing. You raise the quality of service. The second thing, you make the team operate more smoothly. The third thing, and most importantly, you get the freedom of spending your time because you can just scale your team as you need to. And this is the beautiful thing. Let's dive right into this. Hey, I'm Jan. I'm the CEO of Virtual Summit Mastery. I'm a Cloudways maverick. And today I want to talk about the chances that I've missed by not creating SOPs earlier, and also what I do to actually have SOPs that let me and the team execute virtual summits properly for our clients. So by not having SOPs for multiple years, I probably left a big load of money on the table, multiple six figures probably. And the reason is because with an SOP, the team operates a lot smoother. You can take on more projects, and honestly, the business would have grown a lot quicker. The quality of service would have been better because everything is repeatable and every team member becomes an expert in what they do, and they get to refine the SOPs. We'll talk about that in a minute. So the processes that you have in your agency, they improve over time as well, and this is obviously a very, very good thing. Now, without SOPs, your day-to-day can feel like chaos. You're just jumping from one task to another. You're figuring out the tasks as they come in, and the team does the same thing. And most importantly, the team cannot make decisions on their own. And this is a very, very, very critical step. When the team can decide what tool to use, how to implement this, that, or the other thing, then you are out of the equation as a business owner. And that is where you want to be. You want to be on the business. You not want to be in the business. And you've heard this over and over and over again. And what this looks like is having a team, even if it's just minor decisions, they can decide what to do as the next steps on their own because they know exactly what the next step is and how to implement that. They don't need your hand-holding, and that is where SOPs come in. Now, with SOPs, your processes become a lot more efficient because you will refine the processes and the team refines the processes over and over and over again. You don't have to micromanage your team anymore, which is obviously a good thing because it frees up a lot of time, and your quality of service increases. And that is obviously recognized by your customers so that they come back for the second project and the third project, that you can sign them on retainers potentially. And this just grows the business overall while taking time off your plate, while giving you more freedom to work on the business, be more strategic with decisions, and have this overview perspective instead of being in the trenches making decisions that impact the projects directly. Now, how do you create SOPs? Let me walk you through the 4-step process that we have at Virtual Summit Mastery. It has worked very, very well for us over the past few years. It's nothing groundbreaking. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. You've probably seen this somewhere else, but maybe the way I explain it in this video helps you understand it a little bit better. And the example that I have for you is in Notion. That's what we use for our agency. It works as well in other project management tools or whatever you want to call Notion. But the way we use this is empowering our team to execute the project so that I, as the business owner, have only to do the onboarding and the sales for the biggest clients. I could probably outsource that eventually too and hand that over to a team member. But I get to be in the task that I want to be. The team handles the busy work and everybody's happy because everybody knows exactly what they need to do and the tasks play to their strength, which is of course very, very important. Step number 1 is you identify a task that comes up time and time again. Whether that's WordPress updates, whether that's validating a backup, whether that is setting up a new WordPress installation when a new client comes in, you name it. You have tasks that come in for every single project that you take on. And those tasks, you want to have them as a list, one by one, so that you build this repository of SOPs to create eventually. You're not creating them right now, you're just listing the tasks, and you don't need to have an extensive list. The most important thing is that you start. So start with, let's say, 10 tasks, or maybe another way to tackle this is think about what are the biggest milestones that you have in your projects. When is it that you can charge your client, for example? One thing we do with Virtual Summit projects is that we charge based on milestones, on how far the website is coming along, how far the speaker outreach is coming along, and so on. And in the example, you will see that reflected in the SOPs so that the people using them know exactly where to look for the SOPs. One big thing is that, and this sounds so obvious, but it is important and it is very, very hard to do actually. You need to find a structure for your SOPs so that everybody in the team knows where to look for them. And this is maybe based on a tagging system in a database. Maybe that is something like Airtable for your team. Maybe it's Notion, maybe it's ClickUp. The point is you need to start somewhere and then you refine the process and you refine the standard operating procedure for creating and using SOPs. So this is a little bit meta here, but the first step is you build that list of things to document, whether that is repeatable tasks, whether that is the milestone and how to assess if a milestone has been reached. That's totally up to you. The second step is to actually document one of the things that you've listed in step 1. So that means you pick up, for example, WordPress updates, and you list out the steps that you want your team member to execute when updating WordPress websites. Do you have them all in main WP and you batch update all the website at once? Or do you have them manually go into the WordPress admin area for one website, click all the plugin updates, verify the backup, obviously verify the backup before you click the plugin updates. There will be one thing that goes into the SOPs so that you don't make these noob mistakes that I've just had in this video. Pick one and list out the broad steps that people need to take to execute this process. Step number 3, every time somebody uses this process, have them refine it. Give your team the ability to refine the SOP every time they use it. In this WordPress update example, let's say you had this mistake that I've just made where you updated the plugins and then you verify the backup. Give your team member the ability to change the direction and to change the order. Make sure that the process is effective for them. They are the ones executing the SOPs. So if they have a specific way of installing WordPress updates and they go plugin by plugin by plugin, or they want to update the themes first, or they want to update WordPress core first, get their feedback and their expertise into the SOP. That's what you're paying them for anyways. They need to do the WordPress tasks, or any tasks for that matter, in the most efficient way. And the final step, step number 4, is when they execute a task, have them record the screen and walk through the steps one by one, explaining what they do at any point in time, and upload that video back to the SOP. Because you will have some people in the team who prefer written instructions, you will have some people who prefer audio or video instructions. In this way you can cater to both needs. And here's the trick, here's the thing where the magic really starts to happen. You iterate over this process, so defining SOPs never stops. I think at least it never stops. So whenever somebody changes something in an SOP, they just re-record that screencast, update the screencast and update that list. So there's always evolving documentation. There's always living and breathing movement and documentation in your agency, so that, for example, when main WP rolls out an update and the admin interface changes completely, then you can easily have the team record a quick new screencast, update the SOP for that, and boom, you're covered. Because one thing is with SOPs, you need to keep them updated, and this is the best way to do that. And now let's hop over to Notion And let's see what this looks like for a Virtual Summit project in my agency. So what you're looking at right now is the done for you Virtual Summit process that we have inside Notion. And you can see that it's broken down by milestones into 6 phases. So we clarify the why, we build the Summit foundation, do the research, define the target audience, and set up a monetization strategy. And every single pages of these have subtasks and have processes that people can then execute in my team. Now the thing is, as you can tell, some of them are not linked because this is always a work in progress, and this is not the most recent version for IP reasons, blah blah blah, call it scarcity mindset on my end, but I get the point across here. So this is always in movement. This documentation changes almost on a weekly basis as we learn things while we go through the project. And that is what I think makes good standard operating procedures. So the way we do this is we copy this template into a new project when we sign a new client. The team works through the phases 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then as they hit those process targets and as they complete the processes, we turn these icons, let's say from the symbol right here, into a check mark so that everybody involved in the process and in the project knows where we are at with the progress. And this is a way that works for us. It might not work for you. You might need to have something different. Maybe you need a different way to visualize the progress in the project. For us, it works really well, especially since we can have a task database right on this page where we see exactly what is already done, what needs to be done by whom for the specific project. And then with Notion, you can filter these databases into various views. Search for master task database in Notion on YouTube. Find a video from Marie Poulain. She has a very, very good tutorial on how to structure tasks and these things in Notion in general. And this is how we do SOPs in Virtual Summit Mastery. So we have these templates that are constantly evolving, and that is how we use SOPs. If you like this video, you love the resource kit that Cloudways put together for its agency partners. So download the resources at the link below the video and let me know what you think. Also, obviously, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the videos that we are putting out here. It immensely helps us grow the channel and deliver more content like this straight to your inbox. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of the day.